I skipped a few steps here. I'll walk you through it. I went ahead and took the tires off, set it aside, and you have on the wheel itself, you have two bearings, a spacer and a seal. So spacer goes in the center. You have a bearing that goes in on this side. Then you have a seal that covers this side up on the brake side. On the opposite side, you have one bearing. That is it. Then in the hub, you have another bearing. So you have three bearings on the rear of a Super Tenere and one seal. So what I did with the spacer in here, the bearing and the seal on this side, bearing on this side, is I had it brake side up first. That way we're not putting any leverage on the rotor. But inside you'll see this seal, and it's not, or the spacer, it's not perfectly centered. It's not going to be perfectly centered to the mating surface of the bearing. A lot of times it'll be like this, it'll be kind of oblong. So basically when you get in there, you get yourself a punch from the back side, and you can feel the edge. You can see here on this one a little bit of hammer marks I did. You'll be able to feel that edge, and you want to just work it. Get a couple hits this way, couple hits this way, and you want to feel that lip, and slowly but surely it'll work the bearing out. Seal out, bearing out, spacer out. Then you can flip it over, making sure it's nice and flat for the bigger bearing. And it's a lot easier on this bigger bearing on the back side, is being able to feel that outside edge. And it just takes a couple small hits working their way around. You don't have to whack it, hit it hard, just nice and easy little taps working their way around, and it'll pop out of the back. So we got the wheel done. Now we have left is the hub. Same thing, you get on the inside, you feel where that lip is, you can kind of can it off to the side, couple of hits, and just keep working it like that. And you'll slowly see this bearing is just about out all the way. Just a couple more taps and it's out. Done. So this also has this spacer here. We'll need to get this out also for the new bearing. And then we go from there. So that is it as far as getting the bearings out. Getting them in, best thing to do, I think this one's going to be the one that goes here. There's 3 different sizes. Match up the ones that came out of each one. You should put this in the freezer. You can heat this up a little bit with a heat gun. I wouldn't use a torch because there's this ABS ring is in here. You don't want to get that too damaged. But that'll open up, the heat gun will open this up, cool us down. Might even just push in and go from there. All right, a few more steps. We got the tire on. We got the new bearings in. What I did is put them in the freezer over there. And they slid right in, all 3 new ones. So, next step is we have the hub out with all the rubber. What I like to do is, get all this kind of cleaned out, is I take a very little bit of WD-40 and I just kind of spritz the inside of that. And what that does is that just kind of helps keep these guys a little bit lubricated. You don't want rubber to get dry. These had retainers on them. that would do that, kind of put them on this, but over time they've kind of broke off. So I slip all these guys in here, and it's kind of the same idea as anti-seize. Just kind of helps this stuff not get all corroded in here and all jammed up next time you go to take it apart. Then run a low here. Another little thing, a little bit on this guy as well. And that goes in there. Oh, but first, forgot one other thing. There is a sleeve that goes in this guy. We put him in the freezer. It's not as tight of a fit as a bearing, but it does slip inside. This guy here does slip inside this one. So we want to get him in there. Perfect. And just like that, slips right on in there. Give it a few taps. Now I try to keep everything as clean as possible, messing with these bearings. I know my bench isn't super clean. Put the seal in. This side we gave it a little bit of grease just to help with the seal. And now I'll move over here. This ring here went on like so. So we're gonna wipe him down real quick. All right, I kind of got him most of the way cleaned off. Similar to any other rubber seal type thing, just give it a little bit of grease. Okay, got all that. Then I do grease this guy. Because this is a mating surface for the final drive here. And then here, got a little spacer. Do not forget him in the direction he goes. Make sure that stays clean. Give that other seal a wipe. Then we'll take a little bit of grease. And also, I could grease this guy up here. Kind of his inside and out. All right. Now, you got grease on your hands. Do very, very careful not to grab a hold of the brake rotor. If you do, definitely remember to clean it off. Helps kind of get down in here, look through your thing, and then spinner till you can find those splines. All right, got him in. Then it's just basically reverse order of how everything came out. So it's going to be kind of loose like that until you start getting everything lined up. All right, Then you got this guy here. I'm touching the brake rotor, as I said not to do. Brake bracket, we release that. Okay. All right. With your axle shaft, nice and clean as you can. And then use a ton of grease. See if we can do this. A lot of it's going to push out, but that is okay. You got your washer. See? So that's all the movement that it should be. All right, clean up a little bit. All right, washer, nut, threads on nice and easy. And then we'll look up the factory specs for torquing this down. I'll use a socket on this end with my torque wrench. Same with the pinch. All right, so that is good. The ABS ring, let's clean him off. ABS sensor. Get him in there. Get a little bolt for him. Now you're threading into aluminum with an aluminum bolt. Doesn't have to be overly tight, but don't crank it down. Okay. And with the rear wheel, hit the rear brake a few times to get the pads back to where they needed to be, and that's it. We're gonna be doing the brakes also. We'll do the front tire. That'll be different videos. Thank you for watching.